right, welcome back to the Reasonably Debatable podcast. Chris and Chris, the best father-son podcast on the internet. What's up, Dad?
What up? What up?
Cheers with my wine in a mug.
Oh, high class, high class. Cheers with my Rockstar Punched.
No alcoholic drink, or does punch mean alcoholic?
No, it just means like I don't know, like cherry punch flavor or something.
Oh,
No, I quit drinking alcohol a while back, and then I was kind of drinking like non-alcoholic beer for a while,
yeah.
and then I don't know. It was cool at first because it still felt like I was drinking beer. So when the fights or something were on, or I could sit. But then after a while, I was like, this just isn't beer. So just stick with water and stuff. So
Yeah. Well, we've been gone for a while, everyone. I know we say this every video, but life gets in the way. But we're back and keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So I am gonna pull you up on, or put my screen on your screen.
Okay.
So before we get into what the video is about, I wanted to ask you, there's this big question going online right now. And the question is, would you rather have dinner with Jay-Z or $500,000?
$500,000.
So here was the original post. Someone tweeted this on Twitter.
I mean,
they said, for the people listening, I'll explain since most can't comprehend. Dinner with Jay-Z is the better option over the $500K because of the knowledge and experience he has. He'll give you the blueprint on being wealthy and successful. His knowledge will be worth more in the long term than the short term of $500,000.
yeah, I'm good. No, thank you. I'll take the $500,000.
Yeah, so I agree with you, but apparently a lot of people, overwhelming amount of people, so they'd rather have dinner with Jay-Z. And in fact,
I mean, I suppose if you're already rich and you're like a rapper and you're trying to get in, you're trying to be a rapper who's like trying to run a label and buy clothing and do stuff that he's done, it might be worth $500,000, but no, I'll take the cash.
Same. Well, this went so viral that it ended up getting to Jay-Z, and he heard that everyone was asking this question. So Jay-Z actually responded to everybody. I'll pull this up here. He said,
no shit.
Take the 500K.
Yeah. Yeah, like we're just gonna eat a burger and chop it up. No, I'll take the $500,000.
But it's like you were that guy on YouTube that would say, here's my Lamborghini, but more important than that are my books for my knowledge. And like everyone's like, I would have dinner with Jay-Z because the knowledge you would get. And Jay-Z's like, no, take the money.
Take the money and watch an interview.
Yeah.
What are we even talking about?
So that kind of puts the debate to rest for everyone listening. It's kind of been going around. Jay-Z himself said, don't take the money.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's video is Rolling Stone. They just released their top 200 rap albums of all time. Now, for people listening, Rolling Stones is one of the biggest music, what would you call them, publications, companies?
Well, I mean, it used to be a magazine.
But
I mean, no, you sitting here trying to explain to half the people listening what a magazine is.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty soon we're going to be explaining to people what paper was. Like there's just no, Rolling Stone has been a rock magazine like for a long time, and they've written some really good articles on rock, but they have I didn't even know they did this again. But man, I'm already dreading it. Like every single time they've written a hip hop article, I've always just like I've disagreed with way more than I've agreed with.
Yeah.
It's like you can tell these are people who are not in the hip hop world writing about hip hop.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. So Rolling, again, just like the Jay-Z tweet, this came out on June 7th, and Rolling Stones, they don't update their list that often. Like they do their 500 greatest albums of all time. And I think they only update that every decade or every half a decade or something like that. So these lists don't come out often. So when they do, it's kind of a big deal. Everyone goes online, they look at it, they debate it. So there's just like our video, if you guys are listening or watching, there's tons of other videos of everyone covering this as well, just because whether you agree with them or not, it's kind of a big deal because they don't release them a lot. So we're not going to go through all 200 because we'd be sitting here all night. So I was thinking top 50, top 100, maybe scroll 100 to 50 real quick. And then once we get to 50 through 100 or 50 through one, actually talk about it.
Sure. Or yeah, that works.
But if anyone wants to know the whole entire list, just go to Rolling Stone's website and it's on there.
I mean, I can already tell, like, is this going to be disappointing because I'm looking at the picture. I see a lot of people who made the best albums of all time not in this picture.
Yeah.
And I see 3 people in this picture that I wouldn't have in the top 70,
Right.
top 80, probably top 1. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe
So
it's just a random picture.
Well, and that's why I thought this would be a pretty fun video because me and you both hip hop heads, you know the classic stuff more than I do, and I know the newer stuff. And this is kind of a mix of both. So I figured it'd be fun to go through and either hate on it, love it, see how we feel about it.
Yeah.
So it says for the people listening, these are the albums that have defined hip hop history, from Run DMC to Playboy Cardi, from G Funk to drill, from the Bronx to Houston and beyond. And usually, when you have these music sites or publications, it's usually one person. As you can see, for the people watching, this is a whole team of people that came up with this list. So these are all the people that made this list. But all right, let's I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. So let me scroll down. Okay, so that's number 200. We're going to skip that. Like I said, if you guys are listening, you can go ahead and check out 200 to 100. We are just going to scroll through this. So number 100, Run DMC, Raising Hell.
It's good.
Number 99, Lil Wayne, The Carter 2.
It was good.
I'd put that in there. I've never heard of this. Company Flow, Fun Crusher Plus. Came out the year I was born, though.
No, I've never heard of it either.
97, Clips, Hell Hath No Fury.
Yeah, it was a good album.
That was their last album, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It might have that might have been the last one before Malice decided he didn't want to rap anymore.
I'm gonna delete those ads right there. Okay. Ice-T, Power, 1988.
Good album.
T.I., Trap Music.
Another good one.
Which people don't realize, I'm pretty sure this is the first trap album. De La Soul is Dead.
I mean, all right.
Again, we're in the top 100. Ice Cube's Death Certificate.
That'd probably be a little higher.
Yeah. DJ Shadow, Introducing, at 92.
Never heard of them.
Boogie Down Productions, Criminal Minded.
Okay, so if this is a list about the most influential or the most important in history, like in those categories, or like how good it was versus everything else when it came out,
yeah,
this should be quite a bit higher.
Yeah, and I don't obviously clicked on the ad there. I obviously don't know. I need to delete that. Hold on one second. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what they're judging on, just top albums of all time. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon. Great album.
That was good.
I think it's fair in the top 100. Brand Nubian, One for All.
Grand Puba was good. Sadat X was good. And the other two just were not. Like Lord Jamar was trash bag soup. And I don't even know the other dude's name. I think he was just like one of their cousins or something. Like but Sadat X and Grand Puba were really good, but yeah.
All right, Cypress Hill at 88.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have that a little higher?
Sure, that belongs in the top 100. I don't know. I figure Black Sunday and 3 will probably on here a little higher up.
Next, we got Ultra Magnetic MCs, Critical Breakdown.
I mean,
Again, these are I'm not super hip on the 80s hip hop, so
for the time, yeah, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it.
Common, like water for chocolate.
That was a good album. A lot of people say his B album was better, but like Water for Chocolate was really good.
This is
I'm
is
not
this
sure. This might have been the first album after he changed the name from Common Sense to Common.
Oh yeah,
I
that's what I
think
was gonna
everything
ask you.
before this was Common Sense.
All right, 85, the Slim Shady LP. I feel like I mean that's definitely should be in the top 100. That's kind of low, I think.
Yeah,
84, Vince Staples, Summertime '06. Good album, but I don't know if it makes top 100.
we saw him. It was pretty good.
Yeah. MIA, Kalia. The only song I know off this is Paper Planes. So
To each their own, I guess. I don't know. It wouldn't be in my top like 500. That should be much higher. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
I was
Like
just
that.
I was
That
just
should be
listening to
quite
this
a bit
today.
higher.
I think
Yeah,
that
that should be quite a bit higher.
I'm pretty sure the last song, yeah, look on my Spotify, the last song I was just listening to, well, it went away, was Story Time, Children's Story.
Okay, Children's Story. Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was good too. Like that was good. It was very different.
Again, I'm not familiar with this. I'm surprised you know all these.
Yeah, good production. Like everybody knows like the Rebirth of Slick. That was like the big single off that album. Played a lot, but the whole album, yeah, it was good.
Earl Sweatshirt, some rap songs. Again, I like Earl Sweatshirt, but not the album I would pick. Eric B and Rakim, Follow the Leader.
Very good. Very good album.
Paid in Full's better though, in my opinion. But I'm sure that will be on this list. Azealia Banks, Broke with Expensive Taste. Never heard of it.
Never heard of him or her or them. If it's a group of people, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a lady's name and it's got a ballerina on it, so I'm assuming it's a chick. But
That'd be my guess. Next, we got Watch the Throne, Jay-Z and Kanye West.
okay, good album, but if that made 77, then there better be 8 more Jay-Z albums ahead of this because he had 8 more albums that were a good bit better than this.
I agree.
I don't understand, and I like this album. I do. I like Watch the Throne. It's good, but if that's there, then I don't understand how they're gonna fit 15 Wu-Tang albums, 8 Jay-Z, 7 Nas,
Yeah.
5 more Eminems that are all better than that. But okay, let's see it.
All right, Gangstar, Hard to Earn.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
They never really had like a classic album, but they were
Worse, like
all
classic
really
songs.
good. They were all really good, and every one of their albums had like 3 or 4 like just classic hip hop classics.
Yeah, I know. I just remember you playing that me growing up.
Yeah, with a lot of people, it takes a little while to get used to like Guru's rap style,
Hmm.
but Preem is arguably the greatest producer in hip hop of all time. So a lot of good music.
Not a bad pick. Next, we got Megan Thee Stallion's Fever that came out in 2019. I have not heard this album, but the fact that that's above Watch the Throne,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying.
I could tell by the picture. I was like, oh, they're gonna have some trash in here.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, I see 3 rappers on here who've never made a good song, let alone a good album. But all right, cool.
Next, we got Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet.
Again, great album. But I think they have there's probably another Public Enemy album as we go further.
Yeah. Okay. 73, The Far Side, Bizarre Ride 2. I like this album.
If you made the argument that this was in your like top 20 or your top 15, not saying it would be in mine, like I wouldn't argue with it. Like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you like that type of production and that type of rhyme style, which I do, I think it's a great album. But like if that's your thing, then this is
Just
gonna
had
be top 20.
Time Passing Me By, right?
Yeah, and then yeah, She Keeps On Passing Me By. Oh, what was that other Far Sides? I think that might have been on the other album.
All right, 72, Dr. Octagon, the gynecologist.
I've never heard of this person or their music.
Me either. It came out before I was born. All right, 71, Queen Latifah, All Hail the Queen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like she's underrated as a female rapper. Most people think of her as an actor, but good rapper.
Yeah, that was a good album too. Oh,
Okay, now this
oh,
is
okay. All right.
disrespectful. This
All
is
right.
disrespectful.
All right. First of all, like really, 69 hip hop albums better than this? Because I don't.
No,
And I
I
know a
don't.
lot of hip hop albums.
Look, the score should be in everyone's top 20. I'm not saying it has to
Yeah,
be in your
it
top 10, but the score has to be in everyone's top 20 if you're a real hip hop head.
yeah,
Disres-
that should be higher. That's ridiculous.
All right, 69, Ghostface Killer, Iron Man. Again, really low. And an amazing album. I think it's slept on his discography. I feel like most people look over it, but it's probably my favorite Ghostface album, to be honest.
Supreme Clientele will probably be in the top 20. And then I would put the Pretty Tony album as good as Iron Man. If not, Iron Man was good too. It was really good. Yeah, I mean, I had it.
Yeah, great album.
Listened to it quite a lot.
Still a little low in my opinion.
That's one Wu-Tang entrance.
Next, Juvenile, 400 Degrees.
When this came out, it sounded so different than anything else out.
Yeah.
It was the first time we heard all that. Like, it wasn't Beats by the Pound, but it was the other producers out of New Orleans. It's like two big production camps. Like, I think Beats by the Pound mainly handled like No Limit Records and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I think this was like Manny Fresh's productions and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so different that, yeah, okay.
Well, and the funny thing is, just for the people listening, I was just watching a Lil Wayne interview the other day, and I found out that his album 500 Degrees was in response to this because Juvenile had left. Yeah. Or they were beefing or something. And the funny thing was, Lil Wayne, when he was supposed to drop the Carter 5 when it was never coming, there was a rapper on his label. And when Lil Wayne had to beef with Birdman, the guy who was on Birdman's label released it. It was Young Thug. He released an album called Barter 6 in response to him, like he did Juvenile. So little history fact for the people listening. Next, Ghetto Boys, We Can't Be Stopped. Again, I think a little low on the list. This is a fire album.
I do too. And again, like, you can't compare. Like, we were talking about this the other day. All right, this isn't hip hop, but it's, say, I don't know, 100 years from now, say we never get our shit together. We keep like fucking the planet up, and 100 years now, most of the planet is completely unlivable, right?
Yeah.
They're going to look back at people who drove cars, like people who drove gasoline cars, like we look at Hitler. That's how they're going to look at anybody, like these evil monsters.
Yeah.
And of course, most people drive cars. You don't think most people are evil monsters like Hitler, but so you can't, like, if you didn't hear this when it came out and you listen to it today, you'd be like, man, why is this? But man, this was so good.
Well, yeah,
and the whole so good.
The people don't realize, like, this wasn't staged. He actually was shot. They actually went to the hospital, and this was no intentions to be their album cover. But what's the guy's name who's the midget?
Bushwick Bill.
Bushwick Bill. He told him they were wheeling him out, and he said, "Let's take the picture." And they were like, "What?" And he was like, "Let's take the picture," and that became the album cover. Super iconic.
Yeah,
and one of my favorite album covers of all time.
So Willie D over there in Scarface.
Yeah, this has Mine's Playing Trick on Me. Damn, It Feels Good to Be a Gangster. I think, right?
No, Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster came later, but this was a good album.
Yeah,
it did have Mine Is Playing Tricks on Me, but
Chucky.
Yeah, plus the Scarface and Willie D didn't sound like anybody else.
Yep. All right, number 66, 3-6 Mafia, Mystic Styles. Back when Juicy J was
from their hometown and like they're your cousin or something. I don't know. Not hating on those guys, but that was, I don't know.
I wouldn't have it that high.
No, neither would I. better than the score. What the fuck are we even talking about?
I know.
What?
The score was the one
What?
that threw me for the
What?
biggest loop so far. Next, we have De La Soul, their second time on this list. Boon Loon, Mind State.
Again, the only De La Soul I ever listened to was 3 Feet High and Rising. I didn't have either one of these albums, so I couldn't tell you a song off of either one of them.
All right, number 64, 50 Cents, Get Rich or Die Trying. Again, a great album and needs to be higher.
That's what I was just thinking. What would you do with that? Like,
That needs
it's
to be
definitely a super classic album, and again, at the time it came out, was perfect for, you know what I mean. It was.
in my opinion, I don't necessarily know if it's top 20, but it's top 30.
Oh, for sure.
You know, I mean, that's you got to put some respect on 50's name. All right, next we got Black Star, Mos Def, and Talib Kweli.
Great album.
Great album. I'm not mad at that pick.
Nope, I'm not mad about where it is. Yeah.
All right, number 62, MF Doom, Operations Doomsday. Great album, not his best album. That was his first album. But I'm not mad at that pick. Not where it's at.
I'm not dying on this hill. I've had this MF Doom argument.
Me and my dad do not
people.
agree when it comes
I
to Doom.
keep finding people who rest in peace. You know what I mean? And don't want to speak bad of somebody who's passed on, but just not one song ever was I like, I would like to hear that again. And again, before I catch hate in the comments, I know a lot of people, I respect the dude's like lyrical skill.
Yeah.
But his delivery is so fucking bad. It is so bad. Like, what he says is really cool and really clever, and you can tell he's intelligent and he's telling stories, and like that part is great. How he says it, it's like the commercials in the 80s where they would have the 75-year-old white lady rapping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel. It's like, how are you this bad? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's like if it was basketball, how are you the best 3-point shooter of all time, but can't dribble? Still haven't learned how to dribble. Like, it just.
Yeah, he was definitely. I think he was a different sound, like we were saying about 3 6 Mafia.
Yeah, and I'm not dying on this hill. I get it. A lot of people love him. I get it.
This album did have Rhymes Like Dimes. I sell rhymes like dimes. Great song. All right, next we got Scarface, The Diary.
That
61.
is definitely in my top 15.
Yeah, this is his most famous album, isn't it?
No, I think The Fix. I think The Fix was probably like his most famous. Well, I don't know. No, up until if it's not, it's the second. It's
the weirdest thing is I thought he was in Ghetto Boys.
He was.
Okay, because like if you look up the Ghetto Boys greatest hits album, half of the album is Scarface songs.
Yeah. Well, he started off as Mr. Scarface, and then he dropped the Mr. off of it. But yeah, Scarface is great.
One of the greatest rappers of all time.
Great. Yeah.
You got to put some respect on his name.
And that album, like, that's one of those albums. And a good album should be something that you can listen to cover to cover without skipping anything.
I agree.
And I give anything that came out in the like before, like say 2002, 2003, I give them a pass on the intros. If you're still putting intros on there, you get one per album.
Yeah.
After that, it's like, all right, dude, that stuff is so dead. But other than that, it's great. Another great album.
Next, we got Kendrick Lamar's Damn. Not my favorite Kendrick album, but a good album. I'm not mad at this placement.
Might be my favorite Kendrick album. Good Kid, Mad City, and this one would probably be my two.
Yeah, Damn was great.
I have no problem with this at all. That's a really good album.
I will just, I don't want to spend too much time in this top 50, but I wanted to say the song Fear on here is probably my favorite Kendrick song of all time, because he talks about like the first verse is like the fear he has of as being a child, like getting spanked and getting bad grades. And then the second verse, it's the fear of being a teenager and like, oh, you know, I'm smoking with my friends. What if I overdose or whatever? And then the third verse is like the fear he has of an adult, like being able to take care of his family and stuff like that. And I thought it was cool that he explains fear through someone's life. What you consider to be scared of as 8 years old, you're not scared of when you're an adult, vice versa.
Yeah.
So yeah, great album. Not mad at that. Number 59, The Disrespect, Life After Death. Oh my gosh. That needs to be way higher.
Um,
Wow.
doesn't make your top 50.
The disrespect on his name.
Fucking
Rest in
Rolling
peace.
Stone. They still write stuff about hip hop, and it's how many teenagers are writing for you, Rolling Stone? Like, can we hire an adult that knows something about hip hop? Maybe a
Listen,
grown up.
he only had 2 albums while he was alive, and both of them deserve to be top 20, top 10.
It's not as good as Ready to Die.
No.
They probably could have trimmed 3 songs off of that and probably cut down a couple of those guest features that weren't the best.
Right.
But I mean, if you do that, it's in everybody's top 5.
Well,
So you take a top 5 album, put a couple things that it should still be higher than 59.
well, they had this debate earlier. Has there ever been a good double disc hip hop album? Because Kendrick Lamar's new album,
Yeah.
Mr. Around the Big Steppers, is technically a double disc. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, in my opinion. Kendrick's worst album.
Yeah.
But they were talking about all the hip hop albums that were double disc, and they were saying this is probably the best. This or All Eyes on Me. And yeah,
Also, Wu-Tang Forever.
Wu-Tang
was a double
Forever.
disc,
That was
and it was really good.
They had that on the list as well.
And then I think E40 releases like a quadruple disc like 4 times a year,
Yeah.
and then just regular CDs every month.
Yeah, he
And
makes
then
too
does,
much
like,
music.
I mean, if you only listen to E40, you would never run out of stuff. Oh man, this one is close to my heart. I played this tape till it wore out,
America's
had to
Most
get-
Wanted.
and then had to get a new one. Like, I remember being like 10 years old and buying this in stores when it came out, like as soon as it came out.
Listen, Dad, I got to give you some hate for that, because when I was little, you didn't let me and Nick listen to what was the song? We Fly High by Jim Jones. And we were like maybe 13, 14, and you were listening to America's Most Wanted at 10.
Yeah,
This album is filthy.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah. First of all, if you don't have Ice Cube in your top 10 as rappers, we're not talking.
Yeah. Then stop talking about hip hop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh, another disrespectful.
Ooh,
Not in that-
that's rough.
Beastie Boys License to Ill, again, not in your top 50. The disrespect again. Rolling Stone, what's going on? Very iconic. I don't know if it's my favorite Beastie Boys album, just because I like their more quirky stuff like Intergalactic and stuff like that. But
Hello Nasty was great. Ill
Yeah.
Communication was great. All the Five Boroughs was great. My favorite is probably Paul's Boutique,
yeah,
but if not, well, or License to Ill.
yeah. But again, come on, Rolling Stones. Next, we have No Name, Room 25, album I've never heard. So
I've never heard of the group, or let's see. Sounds like it's a girl.
yeah, no, she is a girl. Her name's No Name.
No, well, yeah, I've never heard of her.
Yeah.
So
So
might be great, might be awful. I've never heard of it.
Oh, now see this one. This is my favorite. So for people listening, 55 Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. This is my favorite Tribe Called Quest album. I have it on CD. I listened to it this week in my car.
It's good. I listened to a song off of it today. I wouldn't. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. I think it's their third best album.
See, I think it's for me, like obviously like people, their first one, People Instinctive Travels, whatever.
Yeah.
Had Can We Kick It and everything else. They're obviously Midnight. The Low End Theory is probably their most famous. But Midnight Marauders for me just has a special, especially because a lot of new rappers like sample them. Like Logic had someone like talking his album, and it was the same person who did, I am the person on your cover, and I've ran this album cover to cover, and it has my favorite Tribe song on it. So
It's great.
For me, this is easily top 20, easily, maybe my top 10, probably one of my favorite rap albums ever. So
It's good.
the disrespect, Rolling Stones. I still keep thinking about how low Lauryn Hill, Fugees.
I know that's bananas. That's top 5 Like I don't know what you're talking about.
54,
Ah,
Migos, Culture. Now, I will say this is Migos' best album, and I will say that Migos probably did change trap music. They took the I feel so dumb for not remembering this. Who's the guys that sang Bone Thugs? They took Bone Thugs flow and mixed it into trap beats. I would
they took the rhythm from Bone Thugs,
yeah. Well, I mean
the
people
rhythm.
people
But I
thought
mean,
that Migos invented the triplet flow. It came from Bone Thugs.
but I wouldn't say they had Bones flow at all.
No, 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 no.
Crazy Bone would wrap circles around everybody in that group all day, and so would Busy Bone,
No, I just mean the
like
whole
all day.
they got that
Yeah,
from
the
Bone
rhythm.
Thugs.
They got that rhythm,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't think
Again,
that
it's their best album, but it doesn't make my top 100, maybe even 200.
it doesn't. It doesn't make any list I have.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I'm not hating. It's not just like it's just. Come on, man.
Yeah. No. Number 53, Salt and Pepper, Hot, Cold, and Vicious. Above the Score. I like Salt and Pepper. Obviously, I
Yeah,
grew up
so do I.
listening
Seen him
to
in
it.
concert.
Yeah, but man, I don't know if I'd have it that high.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, 52, Kanye West, The College Dropout.
I'm not mad at that. That's a really good album.
That is
Arguably his best album.
that's a great album, and I would have, of course, I'm a Kanye stan. I would have that album higher, but is what
I'm
it
not mad
is.
at that.
51, The Roots, These Things Fall Apart.
I'm not mad at that either.
Another great album, probably their
Yeah.
best album. All right, now that was it for the top
60 through 41.
yep, so now we are on to the top 50. Is this
Yeah, this is 40 through 21. Yeah, man, what are you talking
here we
about?
go. Now this is the where things get interesting. Number
That's funny.
50.
I was listening to this like hours ago, just hours ago. This was getting played in the house. I was cleaning up earlier today.
Do I know any songs off this?
Yeah,
EPMD Strictly Business
yeah,
makes the top 50.
for sure, for sure.
All right. Oh my gosh, number 49.
What in the
Straight
who's
Outta
writing this?
Compton.
See, this look. You notice how every album that came out like before '95 is like disrespected as shit on this
Yeah.
list. It's like, oh, you have nothing but kids writing for you. You clearly, really Straight Out of Compton.
We wouldn't
It's
have
not
rap
your
music.
number one and most important hip hop albums.
If it wasn't for this album, we would not have rap music today.
It wouldn't be the way it is.
No, yeah, this deserves to. This should be in everyone's top 20 easily.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on,
even
Rolling
people who
Stones.
don't like rap should still listen to Straight Out of Compton.
All right, number 48, J Dilla Donuts. I wouldn't really call this a rap album because it's just instrumentals. I get it that he's one of the greatest rap producers of all time, but to put that in the top 50 as a rap album,
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, it's a great beat CD. It's good. I've freestyled over it in high school, but no, I wouldn't put that in the top 50. Number 47, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, Super Duper Fly.
When it came out, but you guys are high on bath salt if you think that 50 of these albums is worth one License to Ill or one The Score. Like, what are you talking about? There were 3 good songs on this CD.
Is she rocking Air Forces?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. And at the time, it was like the first time we really heard like Timberland's production. So it had a very different sound. And I'll give her credit all day for her music videos.
Yeah.
Like it's always a battle. Well, music videos aren't really a thing anymore, but you always used to be a battle between like her and Busta Rhymes of like who could have like the craziest, most creative videos. But the actual, no, it's not top 50. No.
Shoo, that's crazy.
Talking about no.
Number 48, Tyler the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost. Listen, I am a diehard Tyler the Creator fan. This is not even top 3 albums for Tyler. Great album, but not top 3 albums. And coming from a diehard Tyler fan, this doesn't make my top 50.
Not at all.
So, you mean to tell me this is better than The Score?
Yeah.
The Score.
I don't know. Better than America's Most Wanted.
I know. Better than Midnight Marauders?
Yeah,
Come on
man.
now.
Come on. Stop.
I love
You guys don't know
Tyler.
anything about
Tyler.
hip-hop. What are you talking about?
Mad respect, but not this one. Number 45.
God
Mama
damn
Said
it.
Knock You Out.
See, here's the problem with this. Yes, it's a good album, but it's not LL's best. It's not his second best. Maybe you argue it's his third, but probably not his third either. And I know we're not looking at 4 more LL albums after this.
No.
So, no, it's just because Mama Said Knock You Out was his most famous single.
Yeah.
But I mean,
again, he's one of those rappers like not Missy Elliott, who I was just talking about, Queen Latifah. My generation knows him for his acting.
yeah.
You know him as a rapper. Oh no, this hurts. This hurts. This is top 10 albums.
That's
This hurts.
That's up there in mine. That may be. What are you talking about?
So my dad, me, my
production.
brother, we all love Wu-Tang. My favorite has always been GZA, and this is easily my favorite Wu-Tang album ever. I've listened to this 100 times cover to cover.
Yeah,
it's top 10 rap albums for me.
Yeah, for sure.
The disrespect.
No,
Sorry,
the Rolling Stones out of their damn mind. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Sorry, GZA.
Watch, and fucking MC Shit Pants will be up here or something.
Run DMC's Run DMC. You can't be
All
mad.
right.
You can't be mad at Run DMC being on this list.
No, not at all.
All right, number 42, Big Daddy Kane. Love the Kane.
Long Live the King. Great
This had
album.
Ain't No Half Stepping.
Yeah. Maybe. I think it had like Warm It Up, Kane. And yeah, it does. Right there it says Raw.
I know you got to give this credit because Big Daddy Kane, obviously one of the originators in the 80s. And you can't really judge this album compared to albums coming out nowadays. So I give Big Daddy Kane all the respect that way, but this isn't an album I'm bumping cover to cover.
Well, not now. You wouldn't bump that now, but in 88, you would listen to this cover to cover.
Yeah. All right. Number 41, Kanye West, Late Registration.
Again, arguably his first or second best album.
This is my favorite Kanye album. Well, one of my favorite Kanye. I have this on vinyl. Put it to you that way. It's the only Kanye album I have on vinyl. Everyone knows it for Gold Digger, but wasn't my favorite song on there. But I'm not mad at that.
This is the one that had like, was this the one that had like Diamonds? The Diamonds Are
Diamonds
Forever
from
remix?
Sierra Leone.
Yeah. Those were the, like, for me, those were the 2 Kanye albums that were like really good.
Yeah. This had Hey Mama. And I forget the other song, but yeah, great album. Next, Dr. Dre, The Chronic, 1992.
Not mad at the placement. It was fantastic, but I mean, it really was. I'd probably have it a little higher. I'd probably have it 30 or something, but yeah, I'm not mad at that.
We're creeping into the tops here. So anything here, 39, The Carter 3. It is Lil Wayne's best album, in my opinion. 39. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too mad at that. I don't know if I'd put that over The Chronic.
Yeah, but I think Lil Wayne's on one of the best of all time list, but I don't think it's for his albums.
Yeah.
I think it's for all the features and remixes and mixtapes and like the freestyles and his albums are great too, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not too mad at that. 38, Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City.
I'm not mad at that. I think that's probably his, in my opinion. I know you don't, but in my opinion, I think this is his best album.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at it. That's
Hey, making top 30 as a new rapper, take it. Well, top 40. Number 37, Raekwon,
right.
Only Built for Cuban Links.
This is not only my top 5. This is I think this is like probably if I was doing my list of greatest hip hop albums of all time. Um, this might be 6 on my list.
Yeah. Well,
I'd be just out of the top 5. I was thinking, because Nas and Jay's Reasonable Doubt, and there's a couple like super classic, like perfect albums, but this is pretty close. Like it's right up there.
yeah, as far as like Wu-Tang albums, in them individually, I mean, Liquid Swords, Only Built for Cuban Links. I mean, both of those have to be in the top easily.
I played this purple tape until it warped out and I couldn't play the tape anymore and I had to go buy it on CD.
Yeah. Yeah, a little low.
Yeah.
All right. Number 36, Chance the Rapper's Acid Rap. Easily his best album, but actually I thought this was a mixtape. And I like this album a lot, but the fact that it would not be my 36, it's not better than the last 3 albums we just seen.
No. But
And again,
I mean, it is good. I'm not hating on him, but
it wouldn't be that high.
everything that's come out on this list, like after 2000, is a little higher than it should be. And everything that's come out of this list before is a little lower.
Yeah. Doggy Style. It's still Snoop Dogg's best album, in my opinion. I'm not mad at that.
Again, neither am I. Again, like Lil Wayne, don't really. I mean, Snoop, I don't know. Yeah,
I wouldn't be
35.
mad if I wouldn't be mad if anyone had this higher either.
Neither would I.
Body dotty, we like to party.
The production on here, that was a cover. Slick Rick.
Was it? Oh yeah, that's right.
Gotti. Yeah. Well, Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, but yeah.
34, Sugar Hill Records.
Fuck out of here with this retarded shit. I mean, I don't know.
Now, I will give credit that Sugar Hill Gang technically have the first rap song ever with Rapper's Delight.
On radio. No, they had the first rap song played on radio.
Oh, well, that's on this album.
Yeah. And nothing else. Yeah. And what in the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about? Their one song? It was important because it was the first hip hop song played on radio. But I mean, dude stole all of his lyrics from Grandmaster Caz and like just never paid him. Made like millions and millions of dollars off this record.
Yeah. Now, it's weird that this says 1997. Maybe this is when it came out on the album, because I know this song Rapper's Delight came out in what, 79? Yeah, it says right here 1979. So maybe this was like their greatest hits album or something. I'm not sure. But again, I know one. I'm with you. I know one song by them. Sorry to all my 70s and 80s rap listeners.
No, 70s and 80s rap listeners think this is bullshit. No, not at all.
Number 33.
There's the only De La. God damn! Did somebody from De La Soul make this list?
Every album has been on this list.
Jesus. I think De La Soul and 16 teenage girls came up with this fucking list.
Yeah, I mean, this is their most famous album. What's the song on this that they sampled Michael Jackson? You know what I'm talking about. They sampled Human Nature, right?
That's SWV.
Oh, no. There's a song on this that I'm thinking about. Does it say it in this? I Can't Go For That. I remember that. I can't even remember. I know this album's not on streaming services. So you can't get this anywhere because they own the rights to their music, and you can only get this album if you buy it.
Yeah, and I mean, it was their best album, and the production on here is really good. But all right, okay. Have your average hip hop fan from any age say, besides Me, Myself, and I, name 3 De La Soul songs.
Me, Myself, and I.
Right, and then see if anybody can do it.
No,
I might get one, maybe if they're like from New York and they know 2 more, or something. But
my thing is like De La Soul gives me the same vibes as Tribe, and I pick Tribe all day.
All day,
yeah,
all day. It's not even close.
And like, and you're putting this over Cuban Links. You're putting this over The Chronic. You're putting this over Good Kid, Mad City.
That's so stupid.
Number 32,
Get
Chief
the fuck out of
Keef,
here. What are we
Finally
talking about?
Rich.
All right. So
Uh,
just okay. So I know I've decoded the Rolling Stone hip hop code. All right. If the release date is after 2000, but before 2010, you subtract 15 spots. If it's after 2010, you subtract 25 spots. And if it came out in the 80s, you add 30 points. And if it came out in the 90s, you add 20 points. Like that's
Yeah.
how this list should be.
Now I'll say I remember when this came out, we lived in Lancaster at the time, and this definitely changed trap music. I think it was kind of like when people say T.I. created trap music, this was really what we know as trap music was created with Love Sosa and Don't Like and all that. Um,
This is the
and
list I don't like.
yeah. So I mean, as far as influence for a genre of rap music, I understand its influence, but to
Yeah.
have it even in the top 100 is kind of
So
disrespectful.
disrespectful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those other fucking De La Soul albums. And like, what are you guys doing?
Oh man, I'm curious to see where we go. Number
Get the fuck
31,
out of here. Get the
Nicki
fuck on
Minaj's
out of
Pink
here.
Friday. Again, her best album. But you mean to tell me this is better than The Score or Only Built for Giving Licks?
Or Liquid Swords. Or License to Ill. Or The Chronic.
Now, it is her best album, and I think she kind of brought back the whole idea of the female rapper because you had that in the 80s and 90s, and then women just kind of stopped rapping. And Nicki Minaj definitely sparked that fire again.
You definitely, wow. You know, that I think about that. You have less and less good female rappers each decade.
Yeah.
Because there was a good bit of them in the 80s, but only a handful in the 90s. And I haven't heard a good female rapper except for when Lauryn Hill does stuff.
Right. Now,
Years. I
now
mean,
this
it's been
was
years.
this was her first album in 2010. So when people say that Nicki Minaj is the best female artist of the 2010s, I'm not mad at that at all. That's fair.
Were there any other ones?
Exactly.
No, I mean, were there any other female artists of the 2010s?
Well, there were rappers, but I'm saying Nicki Minaj is easily the best, and this was a good album. We
Yeah,
seen
name one.
of the 2010s.
Yeah.
I don't know, not off the top of my head.
Fucking no. Nobody does.
So I mean, but man, it probably make my top 100, but it would probably be like 100. No disrespect.
Yeah, I don't know. Eh,
Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique.
yeah.
Is that better than License to Ill?
1 and 1.5. You know what I mean? One of them's their best album, the other one's the second best, whichever one you like. I like this one. This is probably Paul's Boutique. Yeah, I would say this is their best album.
Well, at least they did them justice, putting them higher.
Yeah.
29, All Eyes on Me.
I'm not mad at that.
This is my personal favorite favorite
It
Tupac
could be a
album.
little higher.
I know your favorite's Me Against the World, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, mine's All Eyes on Me. I would put it higher. I'd have it in my top 20 at least.
But I mean, I like almost all Tupac's albums.
All right, next we have Mobb Deep's The Infamous.
Oh man, I can't. This is one of those albums that I listen to so much. Again, back to the 1995 thing. I think so much good hip hop came out in 94 and 95.
Yep.
Like you could do a top 200 albums list and have a big chunk of that list be stuff that came out in 94 and 95.
And I don't care for the young listeners listening who say they have no idea who Mobb Deep is. Everyone on this earth knows Shook Ones. Everyone knows that song. Easily. Another thing about this album that I think is hilarious. It says if Mobb Deep's second album had just been, oh, we got an ad. It said if Mobb Deep's second album had just been Shook Ones Part 2 10 times in a row, it would still be a first ball out Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but I mean, eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Drink. Oh man, I think Q-Tip. If I'm not mistaken, I think Q-Tip produced like 6 of the songs on this album, and I think again, let me if I can remember. I haven't listened to this in a while, but I think that Q-Tip, Nas, and Raekwon and Ghostface are the only features on this album as well.
Yeah.
Man,
Legendary album.
you can't put 30 albums in the top 10. You know what I mean? But like I listen to this a lot. A lot.
Oh, great album. I would probably have it higher.
Yeah.
Next, we have Outkast, Aquemini. Now, I used to say this was my favorite Outkast album, and it probably still is. But I don't know. The more and more I listen to ATLiens, that might be my favorite. Now, I come from the generation of Stankonia and The Love Below. But once you go back, once you really get into hip hop and you go back and listen to ATLiens and Aquemini, you're like, okay, these albums are better.
Yeah, Southern Playalistic was amazing when it came out. It just was. It didn't sound like anything else. It was it was incredible. But then Aquemini was like, oh, that's really, or ATLiens came out, and that was, yeah. But I'm not mad at Aquemini being up there. It's really good too.
All right, next we have Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z.
Fuck Rolling Stone. That's number one on my list. I mean, that album and Illmatic have been battling back and forth in my mind of which is the best hip hop album of all time since '96.
Now think about this. You seen Watch the Throne, and you said all of Jay-Z's albums better be above this. This is the first Jay-Z album we've seen since.
This is number one on my list of greatest hip hop albums of all time. It's Reasonable Doubt.
This is a 10 out of 10 easily.
If not, it's number two.
Great album.
Fantastic.
But in my personal opinion, not Jay-Z's best album. But my favorite Jay-Z album, which I guarantee is probably not even going to be on this list, is the Black Album. Personal favorite.
That should be up there too.
Marshall Mathers LP. Again, I'm not mad about this.
That is probably number 3 on my list. It probably goes Reasonable Doubt, Illmatic, and then Marshall Mathers LP.
Yeah, probably his best album.
Yeah.
Had Stan on it. Had what's that song? When I was just a little baby boy, my mama used to tell me these crazy things. You know what I'm talking about.
How about the when you break down like the way like I sit back with this pack of zigzags and this bag of this weed that gives me the shit needed to be the most meanest MC. Like it was get out of here. You're hating.
Yeah.
That should be top 10.
And like we've said, if you don't have Eminem as a rapper in your top 10, you're just a racist.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about?
No.
What are you talking about? If you got 100 rappers, if you got 100 famous rappers in the room and ask them what the best hip hop album of all time was, at least 50 of them would say Illmatic. Like, what are you talking about? He was a fucking teenager when he did this. Like, you guys are out of your mind.
Yeah, this is number 1 on everyone's list.
Yeah,
if it's not number 1, it's number 2. Yeah,
yeah. If it's not the best album, it's the second best. Like, what are we talking about? They just put the number 1, 2, and 3 on my list as 24, 25, and 26.
If you don't have Illmatic in your top 5, you don't really listen to rap.
Yeah, or you're 15,
24. Like that's more disrespectful than the score being at 60 or 70 or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like this is easily one of the greatest rap albums of all time ever, hands down. In my opinion, probably the greatest rap album ever made.
And again, listen to everything else that was out in 94. A lot of good music, not this though. And half of this album, he was still like at least 4 songs. I think I'll have to go back, but I know a good bit of this album came from when he was a teenager.
Yeah, and a lot of these albums that we're seeing are 95, 96, 97. This was predating all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
Wow. That's the biggest shocker so far. Well,
they went my 1, 2, and 3.
Well, let's see what the 23 better albums than this are.
Yeah.
Number 23, UGK, Riding Dirty.
I love this album, but what the fuck are you talking about? And I love this album. I played the shit out of this album. What in the fuck are you talking about? If you ask Bun B, I mean, you can't ask Pimp C because he's dead, but if you ask Bun B right now, he would say this is bullshit. He would say that Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt are the number 1 and 2. Like, he would tell you that.
Yeah, that's and to think we have a lot to go. We haven't even made it to the top 20.
It's a great album.
Number
But
22, DMX is dark and hell is hot.
that's
Is that his
all
best
right.
album?
No. I'll give it this. Like, I love it. It was good. And when it came out, for sure, it sounded different than anything else. This was one of those times, like when Missy came out, she had Timberland's production. We hadn't heard that. When Juvenile came out, he had Manny Fresh. And when this came out, this was the world's introduction to Swiss Beats and that
Yeah.
sound. We were like, what is this? And,
Yeah.
plus the way he would yell, and then he was like half crazy and praying all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, that's crazy. 22.
I wouldn't be mad at that if get the fuck out of here.
Lil Wayne's The Drought 3. That's they
one
say
of his mixtapes.
Listen, they say it's his best mixtape. It's not my favorite mixtape by Lil Wayne. But to make the top 30, damn near the top 20, better than Illmatic.
Yeah, see. Nobody writing this article was alive in the 90s. Writing like there's just no way. It's the only way that this makes sense. Or half of the people that wrote this don't listen to hip hop.
I mean, easily top 3 Lil Wayne mixtapes. I give you that. Lil Wayne, obviously, like we said before, he's more famous for his mixtapes, and he definitely changed hip hop for that.
Yeah.
But man, this doesn't make top 50. It does not.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it makes top 100. It's not even an album.
I don't think it makes 21 on the top mixtapes of all time.
No. Yeah, that's yeah.
Matter of fact, I think Joey Badass and Red Cafe have the top 5 between the two of them.
Yeah.
Like I don't
fair.
know what we're talking about here. I don't know what we're talking about.
As Number 20, Future Dirty Sprite 2.
It almost feels like they just put like a bunch of album covers on the wall and threw darts at them. Be like, all right, here goes number 20, and just all right, that's what it's gonna be.
Man, again, I'll at least give them that they at least put their best album. This is probably Future's best album, but this does not make top 100 for me.
No,
I don't know if it makes my top 200.
Nope. No hate on Future, but he's not that good.
No, well, GQ did just name him the greatest rapper alive, so.
Yeah, well, again, that's cool.
Yeah, wow. Like the disrespect.
I'm going to write an article on what it's like day to day in the rice fields in China because I know somebody. What the fuck? Who wrote this article?
This is bad. Hopefully it gets better. We're in the top 20 now. Number 19.
I'll get the fuck out of here.
Little Kim's Hardcore.
No, it was her best album, but no, not at all.
I still can't get over Illmatic. I'm not gonna let that go. But yeah, I don't know if I know any songs off this, but man,
you do. Like
she's the one that dated Biggie, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but yeah, this isn't. It's good.
Wow,
I had it. It was a good album.
Number 18, Mad Villain, Mad Villainy, MF Doom. Again, his best album, but does not.
Is it better than Straight Outta Compton, License to Ill, Paul's Boutique, The Chronic,
Illmatic, Midnight Marauders,
Good Kid, Mad City?
No.
Damn, like come on.
Nope. It's a great album, but it doesn't beat any of those albums. This isn't as bad as Future being on the list, in my opinion, but man, it's his best album, probably most influential, but wow. Well, this isn't looking good for our top 20 so far. Number 17, Kanye West, Yeezus. This had Black Skinhead on it. Remember this?
Yep.
Oh man.
Did this have Bound 2 on it?
Yep.
Yeah, this wasn't bad.
No, this was a good album, but
it wasn't Kanye's best.
Nope.
Wasn't good as those other 2 Kanye albums that were already on here.
I don't think this makes my top 5 Kanye albums. But the cool thing, another random fact, I just watched a video the other day. Um, when this album came out, this is when CDs were dying and everyone was switching to MP3s. The year this came out was the year you got me that MP3 player, the touchscreen. I forget what that was. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was when like the MP3 players and the iPods were getting big, but like touchscreen phones were still like they
Yeah,
weren't the all the best phones like still had like keyboards.
yeah.
They would start maybe a little earlier, but yeah, that was a Samsung Galaxy media player, like when they were making the Galaxy phone, and
Like
then
iPhones, or they were like
yeah,
MP3 players. But the funny thing was, it's crazy. You got me that the same year this came out, and that's why Kanye made the cover no cover, because the point was it was supposed to be the death of CDs. Like it
you
just
know,
doesn't even have a cover. It's just like the death of CDs. So the concept was cool. The album was good, but doesn't make my top 20. That no, probably doesn't make my top 50.
yeah,
Cardi B, Invasion of
get
Privacy
the fuck out of
at
here.
number 16.
And I just want to like for the women out here listening to this, it probably sounds like I'm hating on women in hip hop. I'm not. If there were the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was on here, if two or three of Foxy Brown's albums were on here, if Jackie O was on here, Queen Latifah could have been on here. I had no problem with that. MC Light from there's been plenty. They're just not on this fucking list. Uh, what are we even talking about? How's this bitch in the top 200?
Overly, it's saying it's better than Reasonable Doubt. It's better than Illmatic. It's better than The
Saying it's
Chronic.
better than the last 50 albums we talked about.
This doesn't make my top 200.
No.
And that's no disrespect to Cardi B. I mean, this is her. I think it's her only album. Um, but and I know she won a Grammy for it. But man, to have it at number 16 of all time.
Yeah, they should have renamed this like best female albums of the last 10 years, plus other hip hop albums we've heard other people talk about, because that's who wrote this list.
Yeah, wow. That's as crazy as Illmatic being in the 20s. Yeah, that's bad. Number 15, Paid in Full, Eric B and Rakim. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, if a whole shitload of albums were higher up ahead of it, yeah, this should be
Yeah.
at 15. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It makes sense.
To me, this probably is my top 20.
Yeah.
So like I'm not mad at that placement, but I agree that there should be 4, 5, 6 albums we've seen that should be above this.
For sure.
But yeah, great album. Number 14, Ghostface Killah, Supreme Clientele.
Yeah.
Again, another Wu-Tang album that's probably in their top albums. I don't know if I'm putting this over Cuban Links and Liquid Swords though.
If you're talking about the solo albums, it's Supreme Clientele, but Cuban Link was more. I mean, it says Raekwon, but Ghostface is on that CD more than anybody.
Right.
It's really Ghostface featuring Raekwon. But I'm not mad at that. It's one of my favorite albums. Heavy airplay.
Yeah. At least they got some of it right. Number 13, Dr. Dre's 2001.
I love Dr. Dre. I love Dr. Dre's production. I love this album. But
now I would say I think
it's not better than Reasonable Doubt. It's not better than Liquid Swords. It's not.
But this is. I would say this is better than. I would say this is better than The Chronic.
Oh yeah, it's better than The Chronic.
People don't realize it was actually called The Chronic 2001, but people just started calling it 2001.
Well, it was supposed to be The Chronic 2000.
Yeah.
But Suge still owned the name to The Chronic, so he released The Chronic 2000 real quick. He threw a Suge Knight Presents The Chronic 2000 before this album came together. It was just a bunch of songs he just threw together that he had in the studio. And so a lot of people bought that thinking it was like a new Dre album. And so Dre had to change the name to 2001.
See, I didn't know that. Another little hip hop fact for you, the guys listening. I'm not mad at that though. Number 12, The Clips, Lord Willin'.
Great album, way too high. way too fucking high on this list.
Yeah. Honestly, like, where you could sub that out for, I mean, any of the albums we talked about, but if you're gonna go Clips, I would sub that out for a Pusha T album.
This is really good. It's really good. Um, if you were involved in like certain types of criminal shit, you probably at a certain time in certain places, you probably like this album a little bit more than the average hip hop fan.
Yeah.
But and I love this album, but that's too high. It shouldn't be this high.
There. Yeah, no, I agree. And we're almost in the top 10, and you're putting Clips in there? Come on now. Number 11, Drake's Take Care. Again, maybe Drake's best album. I probably put Nothing Was the Same over this.
Yeah.
But
sure. This was good. It's a good album.
Better than
I like Drake.
There's too many albums that should be above this.
Yeah. It's way too high.
It definitely makes my top 50, but it's not that high.
Nothing Was the Same would make my top 50.
Yeah.
And then this and If You're Reading This Too Late, It's Too Late. Those two, those are Drake's really good 3 albums, but that's too high.
Yeah, no. Number 10, finally in the top 10 for the people listening, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
That's also in my top 10.
Yeah, you can't be mad at this pick.
I'm not mad at that at all.
But me personally, just my personal opinion, I would sub this out for the score.
Yeah, we're on the same. Yeah.
Right here is where the score should be at number 10.
Yeah, the score, the Carnival, and The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill were kind of like all like just the two. If you put the three of those together, Wyclef's album, her album, and then the score, it's really just like 2 Fugees albums,
right?
And they've just made it into 3, But yeah,
crazy though that she released 1 album and then retired.
I'm so glad Nas brought her back for.
Yeah, that was fire.
Yeah, that's so good. That. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Where do we go from here?
All right, number 9, Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory.
All right.
Again, I'm not mad at anyone putting that in their top 10, but for me, again, I'm subbing this out for Midnight Marauders.
I don't know if I'd do that. Was this the one with this had Bonita Applebum on it, right?
That was their first album. That was
that also had Left My Wallet, Nelson Segundo, and Can I Kick It?
Yeah. That was all
their
first
album's their best album. Their first album's their best album.
This did have Electric Relaxation and
yeah, this is good.
Yeah. And the very first song, Back in the Days When I Was a Teenage. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not mad at that.
Which album? I'm trying to think. Which one had Check the Ron?
Midnight Marauders.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't put The Low End Theory. All right, let's see what else we got here.
Number 8, Wu-Tang, Enter the 36 Chambers. Finally, something that deserves to be in the top 10.
Yeah, it's about where it should be.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Their first album, probably their best album. There's no misses. There's no skips on this album.
No, not at all. And again, when it came out, nothing sounded like this.
Yeah.
It was completely different than anything out. It was some brand new sound.
Yeah, and the thing is that people don't, because like, especially if you listen to like a lot of newer rappers, especially like Logic, a lot of people sample older movies and stuff, but even MF Doom, but this was the first time someone had sampled movies, like kung fu movies and interludes and skits that led to the song and stuff. No one like that. The whole concept of how we do that with albums started with the Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not mad about that. That's definitely top 10.
And the fact that they brought brought all these rappers together from that didn't even want to be together and weren't friends, and in some cases were like enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, speaking of that, if you haven't seen the Wu-Tang show on Hulu, definitely watch that. I only watched the first season, but it was great.
Oh, second season was just as good.
Yeah, I have to watch that.
That's really good.
Number 7,
What the
Missy
fuck are we
Elliott.
talking about?
Miss
What are we
E
talking
is so
about?
addictive.
What are we talking about? What the fuck? Is this like a woke article or something? Like, what the why is this on the list?
Oh man, that's crazy. That's in the top 10.
Are we talking about her music videos? Her
Because
music
this had
videos.
Get Your Freak On. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, but
Yeah, the lyrics are trash. The lyrics to every song on here are dog shit.
to be fair, Missy Elliott is top 5 female rappers of all time.
No, not at all.
You don't think so?
Fuck no. No, your lyrics have to be good. Like the stuff that people like about MF Doom, that has to be there. Like the actual lyrics have to be there. Name one time you heard a Missy verse where you're like, oh, she tore it up.
No, but
Name one ever.
It's the whole vibe, the production.
The production, Timberland.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we were doing a best producers, Timberland should definitely be on it. And then whoever makes noise on his beats. Yeah.
Wow, this is number 7 of all time.
Fucking. And I lived in Virginia for 8 years. I like Missy Elliott, but she's. If this was just a list of the best women rappers from the East Coast that came out in between the time, it still wouldn't be in the top 10. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, this is crazy.
If this was just a like best female rappers of all time list, like it was just best female albums, this wouldn't be in it.
And just to, because
Lil Kim's album would have been over this. 4 of Foxy Brown's albums that I can think of off the top of my head are better than this.
Yep.
A lot. Like, what are we? I don't even understand what we're talking about. How the fuck did this make this on the list?
And me, I'm very picky about album covers. Like I said, Ghetto Boys is one of my favorite album covers. Liquid Swords is one of my favorite album covers. I hate this album cover. I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely hate this album cover. I really do. But it was the times. It was trying to get that, like, it's, trying to use the computers and stuff. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. All right, well, it can only get better from here. Number 6, Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, now again, I'm a Kanye stan, so this makes my top 10. For you, I know this probably doesn't make your top 50. This is probably his best album, so I'm not mad about this pick. But I'll let you say your piece with it.
I wouldn't put this in my favorite top 5 Kanye albums.
Well, that's how I felt about Yeezus.
I think the other 3, including Yeezus, I think the other 3. I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad album. It's a good album, but I don't know. I mean, is it better than Life After Death? Not at all. Not even close. Not even like
that was at like what, 70, 80?
Yeah, it was like 69 or 68 or something. Nah.
I don't even know what could be the next 5. They've already said all the greatest albums.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a country album. like
Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. Again, I'm not mad about this being in the top 10. It's almost a funk album, though, if you think about it. I don't even necessarily.
It took me a few listens to like start to appreciate it, because like when you first hear it, you're like, "What is this shit?" And then you listen to it again, you're like, "Oh, okay." And then you listen to it, "Oh, I see what he's trying to do, and I get it." And it's that, yeah, it's not bad. It's good.
Definitely, for my generation, probably the most influential rap album. I'm not mad about that. All right, number 4, Public Enemy. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. You said Public Enemy would make the list one more time.
Yeah. No, I'm not mad at that at all. You could make a really strong argument that this is now top 1 or 2 most important albums of all time.
Yes,
you could make that. You can make that argument.
Even before Rolling Stones did this, any website you get on, if you search top 10 rap albums of all time, this is on everyone's list. I don't know, because I wasn't around. Obviously, I was not even alive then. you were young when this came out. So I
Yeah.
don't understand the importance of this album, but I know that everyone says this is like crazy important to hip hop.
Yeah, the production was insane. The stuff that Chuck D was saying was insane. The way he was saying it was insane. It was a protest album, but it was also still art, and it was just it was really good. It was really good.
I don't know if I'd have it at number 4 though, but that's okay. All right, number 3, Jay-Z, The Blueprint. Now
Uh,
that you cannot be mad about.
I can because I'm a huge Jay-Z fan and I love this album, but it's nowhere near as good as Reasonable Doubt. Like,
Really?
yeah,
I have Blueprint as his best album.
I have Reasonable Doubt as his best album. I love this album. This album would also be in my top 10. Well, it would. I don't know.
Renegade.
Yeah. No,
I
it's
say,
great. It's great. And it's maybe, I would say it's maybe his second best album. If not, it's his third. It's either second or third.
oh no, it's 1 or 2.
No,
There's no way.
there's no comparison to Reasonable Doubt. There's just not. There's just not. If Reasonable Doubt and The Blueprint both came out in 96, I'd have that conversation. But Reasonable Doubt came out in 96.
Yeah.
And decades went by without something as good coming out. Like,
Now I think me and you agree that he's the greatest rapper of all time.
I go back and forth. I've had him there for a while and Nas too. And then since King's Disease 2 came out, I think Nas took that number 1 spot.
Well,
I think I have King's Disease 2 definitely the best hip hop album of the last decade, and it definitely in my top 10. And I have it right after Illmatic.
well, the thing
As
is
far as Nas go,
me and my cousins and brother were debating. We were saying that when it comes to Jay-Z and Nas, it's kind of like Kendrick and J. Cole. Like J. Cole is way more consistent. He's dropping more often. And Kendrick, you don't get him that often, but when you do get him, it's really good, except for his new album. But it's kind of the same. Like Nas doesn't drop that often, but when he does, it's really good. But Jay-Z is more consistent and J. Cole is more consistent.
yeah.
So do you pick consistency or do you pick quality? Is it like, oh, well, Nas only drops, every so often, but when he does, it's a classic. Same for Kendrick. Yeah. Or do you pick J. Cole and Jay-Z who drops every other year and it's fire every time? What do you go with? Is it Cole and Jay-Z or is it Nas
also,
and Kendrick?
like, I mean, man, I can think of like 5 other Jay-Z albums that should be on this list and pretty high up. Like,
yeah, the Black Album, it's disrespectful.
The Black Album.
It did not make the top 100.
Also, and it's not technically a Jay-Z album, but the album that him and Bleak and Beans did together.
Yeah.
Like with 1-900 Hustler and but plus the Blueprint 2 or Blueprint 3.
Yeah, that was Hard Knock Life, right?
In my lifetime, Volume 1, 2, and 3. A lot of people didn't like Volume 1. I loved Volume 1. If you take one song off, the album is fantastic. There's right. One bad song and 16 good ones. Like, I don't.
Now,
however many's on the album.
I want to see, what do you think is above this? I mean, what can make 1 and 2? We've already got out the Kanye's and Kendrick's and Cole's and Nas's and Jay-Z's, and well, actually J. Cole's never even been on this list.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's see. Number 2, Outkast, Stankonia. Not even their top 3 albums.
No, it isn't. No, it's ATLiens, Aquemini, and Southern Playalistic. Like,
now I get it as far as
I get it better than like Speaker Box, but
as far as throwing them in the mainstream with Miss Jackson and So Fresh So Clean, I got it. But number 2 of all time ever, that's crazy to me. Now, I also, like I said, with Eminem and Ice Cube, I also have Andre 3000 in my top 10 rappers ever.
I would if he had at least just like one solo album. Like, why can't he make just like one album?
Well, they interviewed him and asked why he doesn't make music anymore, and he said he's like, I don't want to put out music just to put out music. He's like, I'm past my prime. That's fair. That's the same thing for
Yeah.
for Tarantino. They're like, you're only gonna make 10 movies. He's like, I'm not gonna be, just keep putting out movies just to put out movies. I'm gonna
Before we check and see number one, I want to go ahead and pause for a second. Like, we haven't seen Method Man on this list,
nope.
and
We haven't
like
seen J. Cole on this
like
list.
I forget what was like a month ago or something. Kendrick let out an album,
Yeah.
and the same week Method Man let out an album. And I dare anybody to listen to both albums and tell me Method Man's album isn't twice as good as Kendrick's.
Oh,
And
Kendrick
he does
dropped
that.
his worst album this year, easily.
And Method Man does that every I think in the past, just in the past decade, just in the past 10 years, I can think of like 40 classic verses. Like, he has been on fire forever and never gets talked about. He's never in anybody's top list.
No. Everyone
And
talks about Ghostface. Ghostface is everyone's go-to when it comes
Ghostface
to
makes
Wu-Tang.
way better albums,
Yeah.
but Method Man has some of the best verses, like, of all rappers of all time, and he has multiple
Oh, even
times.
even on 36 Chambers, he has probably some of my favorite verses.
Yeah, and I don't know why he's always skipped and never talked about, but I mean, if you were just doing not top 5 albums, but just top 5, top 10 MCs, he's on that. Like, he's on that
Yeah,
top 10 list.
Stankonia doesn't make my. Yeah, I'm honestly putting Aquemini over this, ATLiens over this.
Yeah.
You were more Southern Player. That was more your era.
Yeah, that had 7 of the greatest. If you were doing a list of just the greatest hip hop songs of all time, 7 of them came off of Southern Playlistic.
That was the last time CeeLo Green was a rapper.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, for the people listening and watching, let's see what number 1 is. The Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die. I don't think you'd be mad at that.
I'm not. I was a huge Biggie fan. I can see there's a good argument for that. It's not mine. It's probably 4 or 5 on my list. 6, maybe.
It's easily top 5.
But is it easily top 5?
Easily top 10.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely easily top 10.
But I mean, not. I'd put Illmatic over this.
Yeah.
You got to probably put Jay's album over this, whether you pick Blueprint or Reasonable
and Blueprint's
Doubt.
up there, by the way. You know what I mean?
Blueprint's top 10 for me.
There. I mean, I didn't really like Magna Carta too much, but there were still like 5 songs I really liked on Magna Carta.
Yep. Yeah.
I love 444.
Yep. He's never made a bad Blueprint.
Yeah. This list is bananas, but I'm not mad at their number 1. It should be in everybody's top 10.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have it top 10, it's disrespectful.
Now, Biggie stole this idea from Nas, right, with the Baby cover, because Nas's album came out first
on Only Built for Cuban Links. When Ghostface does that whole skit, that's who he's talking about. He's talking about how Biggie stole from Nas's album cover.
Yeah.
And like, Raekwon didn't like Biggie either. Raekwon and Biggie had beef over like who was the best rapper in New York and a bunch of other stuff. And Ghostface thought he was a biter, and Method Man liked him. Method Man liked Biggie. Biggie and Meth got along. But then Ghostface also like broke Mace's jaw. You know what I mean? So like, it's.
But yeah, I mean, for the people watching, let us know in the comments below. I mean, what do you have as your top 10? What was the craziest picks for you? Of course, we didn't do the top 200 to 100, so maybe you guys look through that and tell me what you see as crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at the number 1. I think their top 10 was better than their 20. 20 was rough. 20 through 10 was bad.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that Stankonia is number 2 is crazy.
A lot of that shouldn't be in the top 200.
Clips at 12 was crazy.
That was insane. And I love Dre, but that's too high.
And Cardi B at 16.
Top 200.
Crazy. Yeezus crazy. Madvillain crazy. Future crazy.
That one. But yeah.
But yeah, all in all, that's the Rolling Stones list. Dad, what you think about it? They probably won't update it for another decade.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. It sounds like, just reading that article, I don't know. I feel like a lot of college girls and high school girls had a lot of input on that article.
Yeah, could be,
A
could
lot of that
be.
was just like, what do chicks of the last 5 years like?
It feels like kind of like the Disney thing where it's like, well, we got to put women in our movies to make them super, the best people. We have to include gay people. We have to include black people, and it feels forced. It doesn't feel
Yeah,
natural. I
just let
feel
it
it's
happen the way it does.
I feel it's the same thing with that list. It's like we have to include
Yeah,
a newer woman hip hop album. So let's put Nicki Minaj and Cardi B in the top 20.
but at the same time, they're disrespecting the shit out of women, because there's a good 3 Foxy Brown albums that should have been on that list.
Yeah, she wasn't even on the list.
That's disrespectful as fuck.
Yeah.
MC Light as a Rock, that shit should have been on there. You
Yeah.
know, there are the Brat, Functified, very first female artist to ever go platinum. Like, that could have been on there. It's crazy production by Jermaine Dupri. So it's not like there are, Rod Digga
Yeah.
has said some really cool shit over the years. Like, there
And
are good female rappers. They just weren't on the fucking list.
like I'm not mad at Lauryn Hill making number 10, but I would have swapped.
No, not at all.
I would have swapped Score for Miseducation all day. But I'm not mad at Miseducation. Probably makes my top 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. Take the money.
No mention of Method Man at all. No J. Cole at
Nope.
all.
Nope.
Yeah.
No Joey Badass at all.
How about NWA's second album?
Yep.
How about the Dog Pound album? How about Machiavelli?
Yeah, they only had one Tupac
Arguably,
album.
how about Me Against the World?
Yeah. They had All Eyes on Me.
King's
That's it.
Disease 2? How about King's Disease 1? How about Stillmatic? How about Godson? How about It Was Written?
Yeah.
What are we even talking about?
So yeah, you guys drop your comments down below. Let us know what Rolling Stones messed up on. You got anything else, Dad?
No. It's good to finally be able to do one of these.
Yeah, we're back. I have a couple more cool ideas. I just I had a completely different video planned for this week, but that article came out and I was like, there's no way we could miss this. We have to go over this. So I'm sure in another decade when they update the list, we'll go over it again.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, again, you know the drill. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching, guys.